What's going on, Junkies? Welcome back to Culture Junkies Live. I'm here. It's Kenshiro. It's the great Adakuji and GQ. We're here to talk about Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. First 2 episodes dropped today. We just literally finished watching episode 1 so GQ could catch up. But we got a couple other things we don't want to talk about as well. Thank you all for joining us today for this week's episode. How was your weekend, guys? What you guys end up doing? Anything?
Work.
I
didn't work both days. No,
Not today, right?
No, I didn't work last weekend.
Right.
It was a blur because I didn't do anything.
Hey.
But watch movies. I watched movies. That's what I did.
You watch movies? What movies?
Yeah, Avatar, the water bending one.
Yeah.
No,
The water bending.
Not water bending.
Wrong show.
It is wrong show.
Way of Water.
Way
Wrong
of Water,
show.
yeah.
Right,
And
The Way of Water.
I thought it was a pretty interesting movie, but it didn't make sense to me, and only one reason it didn't make sense. Why are the humans still there? They're not even trying to... Just revenge now? Are you serious? Like, come on. You guys literally could go to the other side of the freaking planet, do it. Leave those people alone.
That's not how.
Of course, that's not how that works.
Right.
Because he's, well, I'm going to take you out. I'm going to take your whole family out.
Right.
And the whales, how'd they know? That's all I want to know. How'd they know that the whales had that stuff? That doesn't make sense to me.
It was interesting, but like I'm wondering if they're really going to be able to follow up with 3 and 4 or whatever they're supposed to be working on. Because, in all honesty, it's up to the other Steve checking in. Appreciate you. In all honesty, when I look back at your first Avatar, great movie. The story was the story.
Mm-hmm.
It was really the 3D and all of that. Is the whole reason that movie made all the money it made. It was groundbreaking at the time and all that other sort of thing. The second one, when I watched it, was kind of like,
That's kind of
when you first watched it, or
when I first watched it.
When you first watched it,
it was just kind of like,
Okay.
Like, it was just there. Like, I didn't hate the movie. I liked it, but it was just like, you didn't really need to make a sequel. And then I hear James Cameron wants to do like several more sequels.
Yeah.
And like
literally one for each element.
Yeah. And the Fire and Ash one, are they gonna be red? And it started to make me wonder. Though,
it makes me think they're gonna be gray, like ashy gray.
That probably would make sense. But what doesn't make sense? Why the blue ones live in the forest? Shouldn't the green ones live in the forest and the blue ones live in the sea? But regardless of that,
right.
Also watch Treasure Planet.
Animated.
Yes, and I can understand why people didn't like it. It's not a bad movie, but it just didn't. It was another
It was there.
Okay.
Yeah. John Carter, because the first time I watched it, I fell asleep on it.
Yo, man, John Carter,
it's
man,
a lot better.
Yes,
than
man.
People played down on it.
People really crapped on that movie, and they should have. It gave me an appreciation for a character that doesn't get a lot of love for being another Edgar Rice Burroughs character, right? Everybody knows Tarzan. Everybody forgets John Carter,
but
right?
do you remember what I said? You may not remember what I said about sci-fi.
At the time? Oh, yeah.
People don't like sci-fi unless
people don't
it's
like
already an established brand.
Like literally, Star Trek and Star Wars are misnomers.
Yep. And
Alien as well.
Which is kind of sci-fi horror.
Yeah.
Terminator, which is, but people...
Outside of that.
A lot of people, The Matrix came along and people loved it. Then the new Matrix came and they didn't really do much with it. Nobody liked that. Nobody liked Jupiter Ascending. Nobody liked
Ender's Game.
Yep. What's that other one that I liked that nobody liked?
Valerian?
It's just tons of them.
There's a ton of them.
I would have
like
to
literally, we could go down a laundry list of sci-fi movies that nobody really watched and appreciated. What about you?
Valerian.
Valerian.
I literally just said that.
That's what he said.
I thought you said something else.
No, I said Valerian.
He said Valerian.
Holy crap.
Gotta get your ears checked out, man.
Maybe, man. I didn't Q-tip him after the shower.
What'd you do this weekend, GQ? Anything?
Just played around. You'll see it later. I was playing Mortal Kombat 1.
Mortal Kombat 1? I thought that game was dead.
Nah, Mortal Kombat 1's got a little something that kind of brought some life back into it and some fun. It's a throwback to old style of gaming. Like I said, we'll discuss it a little bit later on in the show. But so I was basically doing that challenge, getting that taken care of, and picked up Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2 4K. Yeah. So I got that, and I've always Tarantino movies have always been good, but especially those two. I honestly wish they would have did that thing where they just combined the two into one long movie, but obviously from a sales point, it's easier just to sell them the two as they exist.
Wait, was this a collection, or you just picked up the individuals?
I picked the individual. That's the only way it's available. There's I think on Amazon they had steel books, but I take that back. I don't even think it was Amazon. I think it was directly through might have been Lionsgate. I think there was a distributor for it. You could get steel books for it, but I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, I would love to know what how everybody else's weekend did. Like, did you guys do anything interesting? Put it in the chat and let's talk about it. Random thing before we actually talk about King to King. Thank you for checking out. He says Mortal Kombat was saved by the Riddle of Steel. Okay, an allusion to Conan coming out as a.
No,
DLC.
Conan's out.
Oh, he's out.
Conan's out.
Yeah, Conan out.
Conan-
No, that's what I was saying. Conan is out as a DLC.
Ridiculous. That dude is ridiculous.
Of course he is. Voiced by Arnold, right?
No.
Nope. Nah.
What?
Terminator and Conan were neither done by Arnold. It was a sound alike.
And it was hilarious.
Shit, bro.
Somebody put together, I forget what you cut, where you just quick cuts of him getting hit. And just
That's great.
Whoever did the voice acting for him has got that down.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's got that part of
No,
Arnold
that's
down.
awesome. I can't wait to see that quick cut. That's gonna be pretty funny. But I would love to hear what you guys did for the weekend. Me, myself, and I. I'm, for those of you that don't know, I'm actually in a boot camp for coding for React. So I'm creating a web app, and I actually started doing a web app for anime, like a My Anime List type app. I'll be able to, publicly share it in a few weeks. The class will be over in a couple of weeks, and I'll be able to publicly show it to you guys, and then you'll be able to see it and interact for yourself. But I'm super excited to show it to you guys. I think it's gonna be pretty cool. Tay Swag Gaming, welcome back to the show. I like the new Culture Junkie setup. Very nice. We appreciate that very much.
That.
We worked on it long enough.
Yeah, sure did.
Shoot,
Put a lot of
we worked on it long enough. Damn.
And pizza.
Yeah, pizza too.
Blood, sweat,
and
Pizza.
and
Golden Bowl.
and Golden Bowl.
Golden
Thank
Bowl.
you.
Hell yeah,
Golden
Golden Bowl. Shout out to
Bowl.
Golden Bowl.
Shout out to Golden Bowl. Chinese food can't go wrong. Speaking of food, right? So this is a quick discussion before we jump into the main topic. The main topic is going to be Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which we just watched. If you haven't watched it, don't worry. We're not going to do any spoilers or anything like that. But just real quick. So in the day job, the 9 to 5, we got to discussing food. And it was around lunchtime because I hadn't, gotten anything for lunch. And somebody was walking in the hallways and they had picked up a Jersey Mike's. And I was like, ooh, jerseys. And my boss was talking about, he was like, yeah, man, Jersey Mike's, I love getting the Big Kahuna, which is the 56, which is their Philly cheesesteak. And I was like, hey, I like to get the 55, which is the Big Kahuna, but it's chicken style, right? And so we started talking about that, and then we started talking about how Jersey's toaster doesn't really toast their bread except for like literally on the griddle. But then he started talking about Quiznos and how Quiznos just perfectly toasts their bread. Comparing it to Subway, which the toasting is, the fuck is that? Like literally, it's the worst.
Quiznos.
Yeah, so literally, I would love to know what you guys say. On top of the whole weekend discussion, what you guys did this weekend because we're interested. What is your go-to sandwich sub shop? There's plenty of them out there. Especially in the Metro Detroit area, you got your Jersey Mike's, you got your Subways, you got your Penn Stations, you got Tubby's, which is a local. I don't know. Is Tubby's natural?
Tubby's is just local.
Tubby's is just local. So we
have Blimpies, and I thought Blimpies was local, and it's not.
No, it's not.
No,
we don't have any Blimpies around here anymore.
I think they went away.
I think they're all gone.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to think of the other sub shop that's around. Quiznos. There's very few, but there's still there's two.
There's two. Firehouse Subs.
Yeah. Firehouse Subs. Thank you very much. Yeah, I didn't even talk about Firehouse Subs. Yeah.
One that went away actually, and also came a pimp named Snapback. I like that. One of the sub shops that went away was DeBella's. And I don't know, maybe
they're still around.
They're still around.
Down the street.
The one that was the closest to us is gone.
It is?
Yes.
The one on Telegraph.
Yes. The one on Telegraph, they took it away.
No. That was not Telegraph. I'm thinking
it was Telegraph.
Northwestern Highway.
There might be no. That might be Bellacino's.
You're thinking
which is
another. It's not subs; they're grinders, but they're still a sandwich shop. Right.
The bread.
But literally, what is your go-to sandwich shop? So the other Steve says Penn Station is his.
Penn Station is nice.
Yeah, Penn Station is pretty nice.
Closest one to us from right here is up on Southfield. In near 13 or
right. Yeah. The other Steve, necessarily, don't need the docs, but he says he wishes he still had a Quiznos. I have no idea where it is. I mean, as a national brand, Quiznos just completely fell off.
Quiznos was better than all of them.
Yeah, man.
But they were the most expensive.
Oh, no.
That's probably why they're not
get what you paid for, though.
And that's probably why they're not around anymore.
Yeah. No, that's 100% true.
Quiznos, like you said, the toasting on their subs was perfect.
Perfect.
Everything about Quiznos was good. Firehouse Subs is nice. They had last time I went there was during right around Thanksgiving. They had that turkey and dressing sub that they had. It was actually good, but it was one of those
Turkey and dressing, like
it was
literally like
it was
Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
What?
it was like right around Thanksgiving time.
Did it have cranberry sauce on it?
That was an option.
That was an option.
That was an
Oh
option.
That would
shit!
be
I'm gonna have to
good.
get that
Like
next
it-
time.
Dude, it's limited. So I mean,
Well, if they do it again.
yeah, they probably will do it again. But like,
Chick-fil-A
Look at this
is
dude
not
saying
friggin'
Chick-fil-A. It's not
subs, bro.
subs, dude. Like I said, sandwich like sub shop.
Nah,
Like what is your
it's
go-to sub
sandwiches.
shop?
yeah, sub shop.
What is your go-to sub shop? This dude said Chick-fil-A.
That's
What the
funny.
hell?
But no, I used to like when they were up the street. DeBella's was one that I would go to a lot.
Yeah.
You and I have been there a
Yep.
few times actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Firehouse is not bad, but if it's gonna be like a not every day because I don't do them every day,
Right.
but probably Jersey Mike's. I
Jersey's.
think because just I like the quality of the food that they have. But like any place, it depends on who's making that sub for you. That's always
1,000%. That is true.
100% true. But it's Jersey Mike's because I haven't eaten there often.
Mm-hmm.
Because my thing is, I don't want to pay for a cold sandwich. I'm sorry if I sound like bougie as shit. I can make cold sandwiches extremely easy,
Oh, yeah.
and they're not gonna taste any different. I'm sorry. You got the bread is what is very important when it comes to it. But all the meat and the accoutrement that you put on a cold sandwich, I could literally buy,
Oh, no
cut
doubt.
up myself and
doubt.
put it on there. Hot sandwiches always taste different depending on where you go. Now, is Jersey Mike's a hot sandwich
Yeah,
place
they got
or a
hot-
cold sandwich
Yeah,
place?
they have both. Jersey Mike's has both.
Oh, you can do both?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
like
'cause
for
hot
me,
and
it's got to
cold.
be hot sandwich.
So I was just that was another question I was going to ask. Like, do you prefer cold cuts? Do you prefer a hot sandwich? So it's hot sandwich for you. So you like the cheesesteak types? Because that's
It
mostly
just
what they
doesn't
make
really
with the hot
mean.
sandwich.
It doesn't really matter because like as long as if I'm feeling because like Penn Station has like a what was it a Reuben style what you call it? It has like the Russian dressing. I really like that one. The cheese steak type ones. No matter where I go, if I'm gonna get something like that, because Tubby's I like the ones that they used to have.
Yeah.
Because like if I get a cold sandwich, I'm gonna go to Ernie's, and Ernie's is just like a spot.
Right.
Out, it's one spot, one dude. He's like, "Who loves you, baby?" And he's there. He's cutting the meat and doing that stuff. His cold sandwiches I can't make. His are special, but Subway and all those other places.
Yeah. No, and the thing is, you're 100% right on that. I would not go to a Subway or any of those other ones and get their cold cut sandwich because it's like like you said, I can
make
do
that
that
myself.
better myself.
Right.
When it comes to like, okay, the reason I go to like a DeBella's or a Mike's or something like that is because all that chicken is already ready. All, everything is already ready. All they got to do is put it on the grill, fire it up, boom, here you go. Yes, I can do that at home. It's going to take too long.
Well,
Right.
100%.
And more often than not, it's going to take too long. So
Yes.
it's like, and again, usually that's somewhere I'm on the way back from coming from work or wherever. I'll stop in and get it. Okay, boom.
So yours is the favorite hot. Like what's your favorite sandwich that's hot?
Like I said, it depends on where I go. If I go to Penn Station, I'm probably gonna get that Reuben sandwich.
But is that your
not
favorite?
necessarily?
Like, what's your
I haven't
go-to
tried
favorite?
everything at Penn Station.
No, I'm saying what's your go-to favorite like sandwich, or do you just get every time?
It's usually what because like when I was at Quiznos, they had a steak and cheese. I think it was steak and cheese. It
Yeah.
was the most expensive one
Yep.
on their
Yep.
friggin' menu, and
Yep.
that's the one that I like.
Okay.
Tubby's is usually steak and cheese. I don't
So-
really get
so-
chicken sandwiches.
So it sounds like a steak and cheese from Quiznos was like your favorite go-to. What was yours?
yeah.
Usually, I like a lot of the chicken-based ones, like the
Okay.
chicken cordon bleu type, or the it's like chicken bacon and ranch is kind of like the new thing that a lot of places have, at least a chicken bacon and ranch variety. Chicken parm it's a specialty thing. Not everybody can do that right.
Peyton Manning and his chicken parm.
Hey,
His chicken parm is awesome, but
chicken
no,
parm
it's
is
good.
good,
Chicken
though.
parm is awesome, but yeah,
It's-
chicken
hey,
parm is awesome.
If it's done right, it's done.
Yeah, for what it's worth, yes, I did love DeBella's, but if my go-to favorite is always Jersey Mike's, I can go hot or cold depending on my mood. If it's a cold sandwich, I'm gonna get their number 9, which is the club sub, Mike's Way, no mayo, add cherry pepper relish, fire, love it, so good. But if it's not that, it is either a Big Kahuna 55 on rosemary parm or number 56, which is the Big Kahuna steak.
Yeah.
Rosemary parm.
Your whatever minus mayo with the cherry pickle reminded
Cherry
me.
pepper relish, yeah.
I think they have something like that at Lefty's Cheesesteak.
They
probably
do.
do.
It's not quite
And
as
it was
good.
too fucking hot for me.
Yeah,
'cause
it's
you
not
know
not quite as good.
I'm a weenie when
Not
it
quite
comes
as
to the
good.
hot stuff, but I got something that was supposed to have flaming hot Cheetos on it, and
Oh yeah.
they were stale.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember
wow.
that.
The stale
That was when we
Flamin'
went
Hot
that one
Cheetos
time,
on
right?
there.
Yeah.
Was
No,
that
that was
the-
a different time.
That was a different time. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man.
Yeah.
King Takeem said Qdoba.
Yeah, this man said
What are
Qdoba.
you doing,
so he said,
bro?
So he said, first of all, this is a man that said Chick-fil-A for his sub sandwiches. Then he says Walmart deli because he's
Look.
buying his own and making it at home, right? And he says, sorry, I'm not balling like y'all, Kenshiro. And I'm like, come on, bro.
I was told, depending where you live in this country, there's places, grocery stores called, I'm going to try to say it correctly because I really want to say an inappropriate word, Publix.
Publix, yeah. Publix, yeah.
They have a really good, they said the subs that are down there are better.
Isn't that where we went when we went to visit?
No, we didn't go to
no,
Publix.
no.
We went to
That was
another.
Publix?
Publix is their standard.
It's like a
grocery store.
Kroger.
That is in Florida, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But, and maybe surrounding states. But
Okay.
they are in Florida. And I've been told that they have a sub down there that wipes the floor with a lot of those places.
Oh yeah. The thing is, I'm not gonna lie. When I was doing truck driving, Walmart deli's subs, because they're like this big, was a great thing to buy, because it's like, bro, you get one of those, you good for like, breakfast maybe, or like depending on what time you get up and drive or whatever. But it definitely covers you for lunch and then a little bit of dinner. Obviously I'm stopping at a truck stop. Yeah, I'm stopping at a truck stop so I can easily get more stuff. But like when it comes down to, you're not gonna know if there's going to be a lot of restaurants or whatever available. That big huge Walmart sub was a perfect purchase.
Yeah, it is.
It's like, bro, like you could eat on that the whole drive, and then you get somewhere where you're going to stop. What's up to Marcus 864 checking in?
What is up, sir? Before we forget and before we move on, I want to give a shout out to our newest member on Twitch, TN431TV, who just followed the channel. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And Marcus 864 just re-upped his sub for 49 months. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. So what brought everybody out today is we were going to talk about Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. First 2 episodes dropped today. We literally just watched the first episode on Disney Plus right before the show started because GQ didn't get an opportunity to see it. So everybody, go round table, share your thoughts of the show, likes, dislikes, so on and so forth. GQ, start with you because
I like the vibe of it. I like the fact that it's telling a story that everybody knows in the sense of how Spider-Man. Now they did a remix on that too, but how Spider-Man gets his powers and all that. I like the fact that it's a fresh take on it. It's not retreading all of the same tropes and the same, road that we've been down before with Spider-Man. It's a nice take on it. I like the fact that he's got a whole different group of friends so far that we've seen. They've even taken a particular character who's always been one way, switched it up. So I like where they're going with it so far. I'm definitely looking forward to see episode 2 and obviously the rest of the series. But it's a good start in my opinion so far.
Yeah. 100%. Dido, your thoughts?
Well, I agree with everything you're saying. I like the fresh take of it. So far, being only 2 episodes, I like that Peter is not being bullied. Because you've seen that so many times.
Yeah,
it's kind of old.
Yeah, that is. I didn't even pay attention to that. Yeah,
like it was just not there. Because 100%. I thought that was going to happen again. Because you got the jock character showing up. He, is dating the person that Peter likes, and you just thought. I thought, not you. I thought that they were going to continue doing what we've seen for many, many years, and I was just glad not to see that.
Yeah,
because it is a little. It's just old and tired. You don't have to keep always doing the same thing, which they aren't doing. They're changing their stuff up. There's a lot of questions I want to ask. Like, number one, who was that symbiote? Because you say it's just a symbiote. I don't know much about. I say this all the time, but I'm gonna have to clarify all the time. When you got new people out there, I like comic books. I don't read them because there's too much of it, and I got too much things that I want to put my attention to, and it's very hard. Kingdom Come has been sitting on my table next to me for about 2 years now, and I haven't picked it up and read it yet because I'm watching anime, TV shows, playing video games, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, back to it. Who is that symbiote? Because symbiotes don't just get around and walk around and cause destruction by themselves. They attach themselves to something in order to do that. I wonder if that's going to be like a tie-in to, like you said, Doc Strange 3 maybe. I think it'd be kind of cool if it does. If it isn't, it's not a big deal if it's not because it doesn't have to be. Yeah. But, and who picked up that backpack?
Yeah.
That's
the laying little plot threads already. Yeah. So for me, I did like the vibe of the show, much like you said. It's familiar, but it's new. It's new spin on something that we've already seen. You alluded to Peter not being bullied. I think that's pretty cool as well. And playing on the trope of you got the high school jock who you assume is going to be, you all know whose name. It's not him.
Nope.
it's another character that you do know, but in a fresh new spin on it, right? The girl that he's crushing on, you think you know who it is because it's very MCU familiar. Like that was the vibe they were going for from the very beginning. It was very MCU familiar and plays on the original origins of the show, which was Spider-Man freshman year. It was supposed to be MCU Spider-Man in animated form, fleshing out his backstory, his origin before he met Tony Stark. They get away with all of that because a lot of things that they wanted to do, it'll put him in a box. And they wouldn't be able to do it because they would have had to wait for the MCU to catch up, all this other stuff. So they said, let's just make it its own thing. I think for the better. I'm glad they did that.
Something 100%. I want to, we'll Preem put on there says the voice actor being worried about being too woke made you less interested.
Yeah, we're going to get it.
We're not there yet?
No, I'm saying we're going to get to it. We're going to get to
going there
now? Not quite yet. Not quite yet. But I still had a few more things to say about what I liked about the show as far as the new spins on familiar characters being put in new situations, right? They are bringing in other disparate characters from the Marvel MCU and putting them in Spider-Man's orbit, but it's not taking away from what feels like original canonical Spider-Man.
Right.
Now, to your point of what they talked about, the other thing that they did with this show that I was very impressed with is later in the first episode, they actually gave a little bit of a backstory of the Jock, and you can kind of see, much like a lot of people, he's not necessarily putting on a front and being like the popular jock guy and it's like, oh, I'm going to bully this guy and I'm not very smart. No, he defies all those tropes. And he's a genuinely good kid. Genuinely good kid. But he lives in a tough situation.
Yeah, I think if they brought some more realism, because that's the other side.
Yes, that's the word I'm looking for.
That's
Thank
the
you.
other side of the jock story or the bully story.
Yeah.
Again, he's not a bully in this sense, but most times with Flash Thompson out of the old movies of Tobey Maguire, you never got any of their side of the story. It was always from Peter's perspective, and that's all you saw. Being able to see it from his perspective and what his life was like was actually, I like that. I like that they went there with that versus we're following Peter the whole time and it's always from his point of view and the only thing we're going to learn about is him. It's like, we know him. And it's, again, there's differences, but I like the fact that they're exploring other characters, even in this first episode, other characters' backstories. Dado, to your point about what Preem was saying.
Well, Preem is saying he's less interested because about the voice actor being worried about being woke. Well, two things. I started thinking the exact same way as you when I heard about that. I was like, man, now do I want to watch this show because this guy said that? I have a feeling that it may have been, and I don't know, and I'm not trying to say that this guy is just taken out of context, because if you watch the show, it is everything what people like to classify as woke.
Yes,
it's literally
1000%.
Literally has all the wokey tropes and which is, in my honest opinion, is bullshit. I hate even saying it.
I hate saying
it too. How they like to attach that word to, because as we all know, that word has nothing to do of what they attach that word to, but is there because you have hints at a lesbian character. I'm not going to say anything. You have people who have been changed from white to black and male to female and white to black from a male to female.
In the same person.
In the same person.
Oh, actually, no. In a, like you said, in a male to female.
Yeah, male to female, and they change. So, like, all the woke stuff is in there. So, I don't know if that guy was actually being, I think he might have been, joking and people took it out of context.
Probably.
Or because it's kind of.
I hope that. I hope so.
Because it doesn't make any sense for him to say something like that if you watch the show.
100%.
Because, like, it is today's, type, what you call it. I mean, even if Peter never gets bullied in this, that could be considered woke because, I won't say everybody, I know you didn't, but everybody else besides you had somebody try to freaking bully them in school because of some, thing, and they think that's just like a rite of passage or some bullshit to have to be bullied if you're going to grow to be a strong person, and to not be bullied, to get rid of that, some people would think that's woke. So I'm not 100% sure that guy was serious with his quote. I don't know how it was said. I don't know if it was actually said or it was typed out, because you can't tell somebody's intentions and anything that's typed out.
Right.
So so you think they might have been employed to, like a rage bait type deal?
It could have been. Like, I didn't know anything about it till recently. And like I said, his exact statement made me not, because when I said, are we watching that show, that's kind of how I meant it. I meant to be like, because it was, of course, not implied.
Oh, got you.
Like, are we watching this show?
Right.
Because of that. 'Cause I
It was because of the statement that he made.
and I
Okay,
assumed
got you.
Everybody else,
Got you.
knew about
No,
that.
honestly,
statement,
I didn't care. Like if you're gonna not like the show, there's some things that me personally I didn't. There's some things that animation wise, stylistic wise, that I didn't like about the show, or is going to take me some getting used to. But I'm not going to downplay the writing of the show, because I think the writing actually was really solid.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that they're showing a sense of community to this version of Spider-Man, because of in that first episode later what he did when he apprehended a thief. He didn't just you know what?
Well, no,
I'm traipsing into spoiler territory.
The thing is, at least for what I saw from the first episode, he didn't go the Batman route, basically, of like,
yes,
Commissioner Gordon, take this person
right
away
and lock him up.
It's like he had empathy for the
yes,
situation.
That's it, right?
And I think if anybody's worried about this show being quote unquote woke or whatever, it's like you ain't been to modern day Queens. It's a melting pot. Let's just be real. Like there's not just a bunch of white people walking around Queens, because lest we forget, Spider-Man lives in Queens, so there is a lot of different ethnicities that are in that melting pot there.
Yes,
so
100%.
That's what this show represents. This is not, what did he come out, the 60s? This is not the 60s anymore when Spider-Man was first introduced back in the day. Like, we are well past, that's, God, that's even to think of how long ago that was.
I know, right?
That's so long ago.
And speaking
Times
of
change.
Yeah, and speaking of 60s, it's been, so the original show I think came out in 1960.
I'm talking about the comic.
You're talking about the comic.
The comic was like 62.
62, yeah, 62.
So like,
the show was like 65 or 66, something like that.
We talking years, over 60 years ago. This character was created.
Marcus A64 literally beat me to it. Can we give a shout out to the intro theme song?
Yeah,
that boy was fire.
I started
that jump was
tearing
fire.
up, like, what the heck?
Yes, man, that jump was fire. I loved it. I thought it was
Theme song
really,
is
really good.
Really well done. It's a good amount.
Really well done. Really good remix.
Yeah. Oh goodness, Preem said I got bullied by my future self and slapped myself as the future would feel. That's funny.
Yeah, man, that's way wild. That's so wild. But anyway, so like we were saying though, so alluding to some of the things that may bother some people about the show. So we obviously know that some people are going to feel some kind of way about the gender swap, race swap.
Mm-hmm.
They already have been feeling that way, and I'm personally not necessarily bothered by that.
No, I'm not either.
What I am bothered by is their stylistic choice for how they're animating the show. We know it's a pseudo 3D, but they're trying to make it flat, almost comic book panel-y, resembling the old John Romita, Steve Ditko comic books. While I can appreciate the style choice and think it works when the images are still, there are certain times in the animation that it looks a little bit jerky. It looks a little bit unnatural, not even smooth. It's like a normal frame rate for TV is like what, 24 frames. 24 frames, yeah. Right? Mm-hmm. It looks like they went even slower, in some instances.
It's possible.
Right?
It's possible because that's how they achieved a certain look in Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Spider-Verse plays around with frame rates a lot throughout the entire film. I think, I don't know. I think it gives the certain nervousness about it, because you got to remember, Peter is a nervous teenager.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of its own, little storytelling element there.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's just honestly for me, and I don't know if this bothers you guys at all. Something about the artist in me looks at it, and it seems like from the flatness of the characters, there's really no real shading. It seems like there's the void of shading, so it doesn't have any real depth to it. In certain shots, right? Okay. It looks like it lacks depth, right? And again, that's a stylistic choice to make it look like it was popping right off of a comic book page. Visually, it kind of looks a little bit weird, even more weird to me than What If has looked in certain instances. What do you guys
I don't
say
know.
to that?
Me, stuff like that typically doesn't bother me at all because whenever I'm watching something, it's story first. It's always for me, always been story first. I mean, I remember years ago, back in the 16-bit era, which means it was the 90s, getting in an argument with a friend because he was like, graphics are the most important. And I'm like, no, it's gameplay is the most important. And it's kind of the same thing. Like most people couldn't watch the Berserk anime that came out because it was in 3D. People
Yeah.
didn't want to watch the new Fist of the North Star that came out because it was in 3D and all this stuff. And like that just doesn't bother me at all. I mean, we grew up with bad graphics with good gameplay.
Boy, did we ever.
So it's just like,
boy, did we ever.
I'm fine with it. As long as the story is good, as long as it's something that holds me and keeps me in there. And right now, the story is keeping me wanting to come back. Because again, I want to know what the heck is going on in this universe because it's not the universe that we have we've known. It did show a parallel that some website or YouTube's did a scene like side by side, and they were doing the exact same thing, but one thing was changed. I mean, little stuff, of course, were changed, but side by side was the exact same thing that was happening. And I'm just like, all right, where is this going? And GQ didn't watch the second episode, and I would like to talk about it. I can't want to talk about that right now. But
I'll definitely.
I
check
know
it
you're
out.
going to
Yeah.
get to it, but it's just like what happens in that episode. It left off on a. I was like, no, I got to wait till next week now, you fuckers.
It was a nice cliffhanger,
I mean,
but
they knew what they were doing.
yeah.
Of course they knew what they were doing, but that's where I'm looking into right now. Like I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, this looks good. But when you look at it, you're seeing like the fine details. It's kind of like those people who go to those, Michelin star restaurants, and when they put the food into their mouth, they're tasting every single spice and the temperature of the food and all that other stuff. And I'm going in there and I'm just like, oh, this tastes delicious. Why isn't there enough on my plate? Give me more.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so a couple comments out of the chat. The cell shade for King to Kim, he says the cell shade animation is a turnoff to him, but he thinks they're going for that Ultimate Spider-Man video game look, which it did kind of look like a slight callback to that, the Ultimate Spider-Man video games. Preem was mentioning back on our Spider-Verse thing. He says the animated animation of Spider-Verse was on the twos, say 2 frames of film per movement, with the exception of Spider-Punk, who was animated on the 3s and the 3rd frames, every 3rd frame for movement. So I mean and again, Spider-Verse has so many different styles, just kind of grinded together in that film, and it's actually very cool. Marcus Says first question is, can you tell a good story that is more important than the animation?
I think he's missing some punctuation on that one. It's like, can you tell a good story? That is more important. Period. That is more important than the animation. And maybe he can clarify, because I think that's what he meant. But that's just what I read.
That actually, to me, would be an interesting question. Have we seen some stuff where the animation wasn't quite up to par, but the story was great?
There's tons of
like
stuff
just in general, in any other show.
Just in general, yeah.
I mean, I mentioned the freaking Berserk. Berserk's story is freaking really good, and I wish they would take that and turn it live action so these normies could get off of Game of Thrones and be on the Berserk, because Berserk, I think, would freaking fry Game of Thrones when it comes to the lore, the sex that they could put in there, because there was some, and some of it was not.
Wow, that
right,
how about that?
so
He said One Piece. This is One Piece.
One Piece in the beginning, most definitely, the freaking animation was not that good. The animation got tremendously better where it is now compared to the beginning.
Okay,
I would say One Piece
so he
could
says
fall into
One
that.
Piece is a good one. He's like, but the story is top notch. Yeah, no,
Okay.
I can see that. I hear you on the Berserk, right? Because I literally just started showing my youngest daughter. She's never seen Berserk before, but she's old enough. She's 23 now. And so she's old enough to see some of the more mature stuff, and she's into some more gory and horror type stuff. So I showed her the first Berserk, and she was digging it. She was totally digging it. And I did warn her that the animation, this was kind of like the first movies where they first started to do that pseudo 3D animated type thing. Berserk was like the experiment. for that.
And then when they brought out the new series,
when they brought out the new
everybody
series, they
forgets
went with
about
that.
it.
Yeah.
They're like, we need more Berserk, but because nobody watched it. Because it's in 3D, and I'm like, okay, I watched all of it, and it's like it's in 3D, and I still think it's good.
It was weird for some people because in certain instances where there was a little bit of nudity, there was literally no nipples, no nipples at all. It was a little weird. I have to admit, it was a little bit weird. Marcus 664 says Transformers Animated is a good example where people hated the animation but realized the story was actually. So this is the one that was on Cartoon Network.
It was very kiddie.
Is there one where they had tons of freaking seekers? They even had like.
It might have been, but this was the series that came after Transformers Prime.
Yeah,
this was like literally a more kids.
I don't think that's the one, but I don't know. Yeah, because outside of the original cartoon.
Wait a minute, was that one on Transformers? Was that on Cartoon Network or was that on that Hasbro channel?
It might have been on the Hasbro channel. Like either way, it was the series that followed Prime. Prime was such a great story. We all enjoyed Prime for what it was. Then Animated comes along. Now, to his point, it might have been a great story. The animation style was automatically eternal because it's like, okay, you're going back to 3 and 4 year olds in the sense of the look. But yes, they probably told a great story. But some things that's just I'm not going to watch.
Animated was before Prime.
Oh, it was before?
He says, Animated was before Prime. He says.
Okay.
I mean, if it looks like it's marketed towards kids, I'm probably not going to watch it because it's not made for me.
Yeah.
So story wise or animation wise, I probably won't, because what's the last thing that's marketed towards kids? And when I say towards kids, I'm not talking about just because it's animated, people think it's for kids. I'm talking about literally marketed for kids that you're like, man, this has a great story, because Teen Titans Go is not one of them. And neither was Thundercats Roar or whatever the heck it was called. Yeah. Those are animations that were marketed for kids. It was not for... Unless you are into that style of
absolutely
comedy, I guess.
And the thing is, Teen Titans Go had some fun episodes. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, it had some funny stuff.
For sure. But the original Teen Titans was so much better for me.
Yeah, for me.
Watching the original was like it's want
a downgrade.
More of, it's like I want more of that.
Yeah.
And then you do the Go, and it's like I get it, but then that became the norm for everything following. It's just like, okay,
for all their DC stuff, they wanted to emulate that, and I was just like, you got to give me a variety, man. That's why I was so happy when Young Justice came back.
Yeah,
because it was like you were giving me more of what I wanted. I wanted more mature storytelling.
Absolutely.
Instead of this funny slapstick toilet humor stuff. And I was
and I think that's also partially where, and again, we all saw it and enjoyed it. Transformers 1's marketing
it was good.
went wrong.
Yeah.
Because the first trailer made it feel like it was about to be another kids Transformers thing. And I'm like, bro, this was actually really good. If y'all would have just skewed the marketing just a little bit different direction, I bet that thing would have actually did much better in the theaters.
It was fantastic.
Because it felt like, hey, you about to have this kids movie. I'm like, something's in there, or it does not look like a kid's movie completely. And when I go see it, it was like, oh yeah, this was a really good retelling of basically the reboot of the series.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it was fantastic.
It would have been so great to get a follow up, but nope.
Yeah, I thought it was a fantastic job. It really, really fantastic job. I think they did a really fantastic job with that. Preem says, I think people might need to give movies and shows a chance, regardless of the visuals. Psycho Goreman is a cheesy, schlocky film with E-grade special effects, but the movie is hilarious and fun, and I enjoyed it quite a lot. Now, see, that Psycho Goreman is an example of something that's like a... You know it's bad, but you enjoy it anyway, right?
We all have... you kind of get into.
Yeah.
Like, I think that what they...
It's like what Super Nerd with Chopping Mall.
Yeah, okay, so I think that's a little different. Psycho Goreman, I think they was made to look like that on purpose to kind of pull people in with that little nostalgic type of movies from the 80s and maybe the 90s. Yeah. Chopping Mall was done on purpose. That movie was trying to be a slasher movie from the 80s on how it was, but the future was because you had these security robots that were... I think that was two totally different takes on things, because had Psycho Goreman been done in the 80s, that's what we would have got, and I think that's what they were trying to emulate with Psycho Goreman. But Chopping Mall, because it was in the 80s, that's what you got, where it looked like it was cheesy because that's the time. If you look at almost any of those freaking... what do you call it, slasher movies, they almost all of them fall into that same category as being pretty goddamn cheesy, pretty much bad acting, but you enjoyed them nonetheless. Yeah. At least I did.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I think sometimes you just run into, like with especially like the films like that, especially independent films, if they're not going for a particular style of, like you said, trying to emulate something that came before, sometimes they're just limited by their budget, and that's what they're gonna be able to do. So, you know, if like you said, if the story is good, I can look past the cheesiness, because sometimes the cheesiness is actually fun. And actually adds to it, and you're telling a good story on top of that. So.
Will we consider the Coney a good film then?
The Coney was
entertaining.
It was entertaining,
yes.
but for different reasons why it was entertaining. But it was entertaining.
Yeah, it wasn't by any stretch of the imagination was it a good story.
Right.
But it was an entertaining film just because of like, bro, this is literally a no budget film. You can tell, but it's fun though. So it's like, okay,
it was fun in a certain way, because some of the stuff that they were doing just so dumb. Like, I still couldn't understand the uncle's plight against that guy. He didn't do anything wrong. Why didn't you go after the real people that actually did the issue?
Again, it's literally a situation where it's like, the gear is here. We got it. We have the camera. We got the mics or whatever we need. Let's just go out and film. That's literally what that felt like. So
indeed,
yeah. What you call it? It's Tubi movies though. A lot of them are kind of like that. So you go to Tubi, you can have a lot of laughs. I saw a clip not too long ago where some person, I don't know if it was a detective, but they come into a house that's fully lit and turn on a flashlight like they're looking for stuff. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
It's like the script called for a flashlight. I'm pulling out a flashlight.
You like looking around, but you can see
not fully lit.
Fully lit house. I'm like, why are they turning the flashlight on? So that's the shit that, you know, because I don't know if that's just bad writing. Because it's like Black Dynamite. All the shit that was in Black Dynamite was done on purpose, but it was made to look like some of them could have been accidents, because I saw a video not too long ago.
The phone thing was an accident. When he
that was an accident.
Like that was an accident. This is the car.
Yeah, where he got the car stuck. That was an accident. That's what I was going to mention, because they were like, but they kept it in there because it made it
worked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally worked.
But some of those Tubi ones, I don't know if they're doing that stuff on purpose or accident, and it just, I don't know what's going on.
I think it literally, because here's the one thing about no budget filmmaking. It's truly guerrilla style in the sense that the roads ain't gonna be blocked off. You don't have permits to do what you're doing. Basically, like you try, if you out in front of a business or whatever filming, you're gonna try to get it as quick as you can get it and then be gone. Because if somebody comes through, they can literally, especially in front of a place of business or a government property, trespassing or fines or whatever. So they like, look, man, we ain't got money to do it.
You got one
shot. You one shot to do it. Now, stuff like, like you said, turning a flashlight on in a fully lit house, either was done for laughs, or is this like, bro, like, come on, man.
Yeah,
turn the lights off and then at least make it look right. But hey, like whatever.
The Coney have it in the police station. What's supposed to be the police station interrogation room, and a fucking furnace in the background. With the elliptical machine.
Like
Prem said, the elliptical
machine in the background. We was tripping. We saw that, but it was funny, man.
Yeah.
It was super funny. But anyway, bring it back to Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I think the show has promise. I'm very much looking forward to seeing the rest of the season, especially after, like you said, episode 2 ends on that cliffhanger. I think it's going to be very enjoyable. If you guys were hesitant to check it out before, get over that hesitation. I would recommend you at least checking it out. Yeah. I think the show is pretty well written, and I think there's really bright things ahead of it. Remains to be seen what they're going to do with the whole Norman Osborn thing. Are they going to explore the Goblin? Because it seems like what they're doing with the Jock character that we were talking about, that we're not naming because that's a spoiler for a lot of you people out there, but it seems like the way that first episode was being written and the way it was going, like they're setting him up for some kind of a tragic end.
That was
right? Like a turn.
Yeah, like a turn.
And,
right?
and
that's what it seems like.
And again, that's fine. That's the one thing that, like I said to earlier, you usually don't see when it comes to the other side characters. You don't get their true backstory. Now, granted, we all know the character in the comics has a backstory. I'm sure he's got an entire origin book devoted to him.
He does.
That was decades ago. So I would love to see how they, the new spin on it and what they do with it now. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. So,
yep.
All right, so that's Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. We definitely will recommend you guys going to go check that out. For sure, it's airing on Disney Plus every Wednesday. I believe like did the episodes drop like early in the morning?
I'm not 100% sure. I think I watched them probably 11 o'clock this morning.
Oh,
So
okay.
maybe they did.
So maybe they dropped in the morning.
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
they dropped in the morning. I'm not
Yeah,
100%
maybe they
Which
sure.
should be
Sure.
good because
Yeah.
I was kind of tired of that. Hey, let's drop it at basically 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm tired of
Or
that.
3
too.
a.m.
Yeah, yeah.
Do it as soon
3
as it-
a.m. is fine because at least you can, if you're getting up, you can watch it. before
Watch it
go to
whenever
work.
you want
Yeah.
to. You don't have to wait till 9 o'clock.
A64 says they dropped
Okay,
at 3 a.m.
3 a.m.
Okay.
Good.
All right.
I hope
All
they
right.
continue doing
That
that.
works.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that definitely
So
works.
Saturday, like you get your bowl of cereal, sit down, and eat your, watch your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. All right. So GQ, over the weekend, you said you got to play Mortal Kombat 1.
I had to dust off Mortal Kombat.
But what was
1.
the reason? What was the reason? for it?
There is a new character. He's not really a new character. Oh,
Is
actually,
he not?
he's
I think he has
he's
to
a new
be.
character, but he's not playable. He's not officially playable. On mods, you can hack him and play him, but
Right.
he's a hidden character in hidden fight in Mortal Kombat by the name of Floyd. When you see him, you'll understand the joke in the name. But they brought some life back to Mortal Kombat 1 over this last week, mainly because people have been doing everything they can to find him. So I'm going to go ahead and start the video. This is me getting to him, and there's some other information in there, but we're going to talk during the video just to let you guys know what's going on. So let's try this out.
All right.
Give us just a little volume. All right, so
So walk us through this.
this whole spreadsheet is all the different ways to get a hold of this character. There's 37 different tactics and things that have to be done, but out of those 37, only 10 of them are active at any given time. So that's when you actually make it happen. So if you do one of the particular things, you get a little indicator or notification that, hey, you did one of the Floyd tasks, basically. So with this one, this was the 10th one, was me doing a double flawless against Johnny Cage. Oh, sorry, using Johnny Cage and Sonya as his cameo. They call it Perfect Couple. So you do the double flawless, do the fatality, and you'll see this little music note that comes up that says Floyd.
Okay.
So that was the 10th one. So this is what happens when it's the 10th one. Problem is, Johnny Cage is not my main character. So unfortunately, I had to fight this very cool ninja, Floyd, with someone who's not my main character.
Why'd that look like the damn Power Rangers was teleporting into the screen? Like, what?
Pretty much.
Okay. The reason he's called Floyd and he's pink is
Yeah, it's
obviously
Pink
Pink
Floyd.
Floyd.
Yeah.
Now, Pink Floyd has an album called Dark Side of the Moon, which the cover of the album is a light shining through a prism, and it splits into basically a rainbow.
Okay.
If you notice, if it goes by in a second, so you literally have to pause it. He hits every color of the rainbow, but he has every single one of those colors, I think, except orange, is represented by a Mortal Kombat ninja. So he has all of the Mortal Kombat ninjas, all the male ninjas' powers.
Okay.
So he can
Scorpion,
do
Sub-Zero,
all of them.
Rain, Smoke.
Ermac. He's ridiculous.
Wow.
And
Okay.
that little rainbow
wall?
wall is a wall, so he can
That's
basically knock you up
fucked
against
up.
the wall and keep you pinned against the wall.
Wait, so that's a solid prism?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
brings out a solid prism, and it's just like if he traps you, you're screwed because his combos get ridiculous. So I am doing the most basic of basic stuff against him, mainly because I don't really play Johnny Cage. So anybody that is going to go after him or try him, out of the 37 challenges, I think like 12 or maybe a little bit less of them are character specific. Like you have to do it with Scorpion, you have to do it with Reptile, have to do it with Johnny Cage or Shao Kahn or whatever it may be. If you're going to try this, unless one of those guys is your main, do all of those challenges first. You can do them offline. You can just basically, if you have two controllers, you can hook up two controllers and basically beat up on a opponent that's not going to fight back. To do a lot of these, actually.
That's crazy.
But I would suggest doing all of the ones that are character specific first, because you won't get all 10 out of those. Then you do the ones where you can do it with any character. Then you can use your main character, and it's like, okay, cool. I actually can fight him with somebody that I'm actually, somewhat decent at. Now, yes, I do end up beating him. That wasn't really the issue, because the main thing you get out of beating him is you get some character palettes, skins or whatever. The main thing you get is that stage, which I love the stage.
Yeah,
The
cool.
stage looks really, really cool.
Yeah.
And so again, it brought back a lot of notoriety to Mortal Kombat 1, which was a game that had been failing hard.
Which I want to still understand why, because I don't get it. Is it the fighting system? Is it just because the whole you have to buy certain stuff? Because like that irritates me. Period. About having to buy stuff that you used to be able to unlock.
I think it's the game engine itself. A lot of people were very much into Mortal Kombat 1. I'm sorry, Mortal Kombat 11, which is the game that came just before this one, where there were 3 different versions of each character, basically. Like, and you could kind of customize the characters, you know, with various moves and stuff like that. So a lot of people got invested in that for a while. Then you come with this new one, and like, yeah, we're getting rid of that whole system. And we're bringing in these cameos, which are like, you know, as you see the tag team fighters and stuff like that. So some people were mad about that. Some people are mad that their particular characters, like Sonya, for example, is not playable anymore as a straight up character. She's only a cameo fighter right now, at least for right now. We don't know if she's gonna come as a download later or whatever. So some people got mad about stuff like that. So I mean, there's a lot of different things going on with Mortal Kombat. And again, also Tekken, because Tekken is also kind of low in the ranks too compared to Street Fighter. Street Fighter 6 is just basically knocking it out of the park. People are kind of getting tired of Street Fighter 6 and for certain things too. But as far as the competitive, you know, side of things, Street Fighter 6 is kind of top of the line right now. Just out of all the fighting games that are out this generation.
Wait till Time Killers comes back. No,
that would be funny.
Speaking of something coming back, so like y'all know the Virtual Fighter 5 Revo dropped Monday, so it's on Steam online. Okay, and they've actually Sega's been doing a pretty good job doing a
not PlayStation.
No, because Revo is actually the Steam only version. So
crap.
Ultimate Showdown has 2.0, which is essentially Revo, but all they did was just update Ultimate Showdown to be Revo, but it's still just Ultimate Showdown.
Okay.
But now it's
I'm not buying it on PC.
Did you end up ordering the limited run?
I forgot. I think I still got time though.
I'm not 100% sure you do.
That was I think the 26th.
I think that was the last chance. It's gone.
Here's the thing. If you want it, when it drops, you have to go down to, I think, was it North Carolina?
North Carolina, well, not when 100% when it drops, but it could be because...
Yo, Marcus 864, I got a job for you.
Yeah, the limited run store that's down there, because limited run, whenever they do their they always order extras, because who knows if something's going to get lost in the mail, that people don't get their stuff or get destroyed, and they want to be able to replace it.
Yep.
But sometimes that doesn't happen, and they got all this back stock. So they have a store where they sell all that stuff, where you can go down there. Because I missed Legacy of Kain, and I wanted to get that. And I'm not gonna.
Like, man, 64 is asking where in North Carolina.
Yeah, where in North Carolina.
I personally don't know, because the only reason I know about the store is this man right here.
Yeah, because I wanted to make a trip down there, because I can't remember my geography right now. I believe Virginia sits above North Carolina.
Yes.
So that means because I wanted to go down to Florida, and I wanted to drive to see Virginia, to see my brother.
See your brother.
Head the store, and then make my way down to Florida. So I don't know if I'm doing that. Well, no, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it.
There you go.
I'm going to do it this year. But what you call it? Yeah, I'm definitely doing it this year. But yeah, it's in North Carolina. Let me find out exactly where, because I could tell you. I mean, you guys are sitting in front of a computer yourself. So, but the store is in. It says Cary, North Carolina.
Okay, so he says if it's in the Charlotte area, I got you. So I don't know where Cary is.
I'm so mad at myself that I literally was talking about it last week on the show and forgot it that damn fast.
Cary is near Raleigh.
Ooh.
It's outside of Raleigh.
Shit.
That I don't know. Yeah, that's what to do. Stuff like that, you got to do it like while it's top of mind.
Yep.
So
well,
upset.
that's the problem about limited run, like I said, because there's so much stuff, and that's why I had to tell myself.
He says he can get it. My man, I got you, brother. All right,
well, y'all
well, it's gonna be a while till that even comes out.
Oh yeah, it probably ain't gonna drop till I think that particular version.
Because I got my Virtua Fighters on here, the Virtua Fighter 2 Classic. Because I got the Classic because I don't need no goddamn dust collecting statue.
Yeah, I think it drops like in October or something crazy. It's not close by any stretch of the imagination.
I'm still pissed at myself that I managed to forget that.
It happens.
Yeah. Still pissed I forgot that. Oh, so anyway, we only got like 10 minutes left. A few other things that are out there. I know in about literally 3 weeks' time, Captain America Brave New World comes out. I am excited to see it, but the press tour is ongoing. And now there's a bit of a kerfuffle about what Anthony Mackie said about Captain America and what he represents and what he means to America, and obviously all the who's got themselves up in a feather because dared to say Captain America wasn't always about representing America, and it's so maddening how these same people that claim to be fans of Captain America never pay attention to what Captain America is doing in the films. Yeah. Yes, and it's interesting to watch the character journey that Steve had through the first 3 movies.
Mm-hmm.
First movie, he was just a guy that wanted to go and fight war because he hated bullies and he wanted to represent his country and he wanted to do right. Then he started to learn that things weren't nearly as straightforward as they were as far as government and where they send people and all this other kind of stuff. The second movie, he was still kind of a good soldier and wanted to do, but then he started to become mistrustful of the government because they wasn't telling him everything.
Nope.
They were hiding stuff from him. And in the third one, he saw that the governments were doing something wrong ethically and morally and said, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to buck against the system and be my own man. The government isn't going to tell me what to do when I see someone in trouble. I'm going to go do it. So when Anthony Mackie kind of says the same thing, it's a problem.
We already know why it's a problem.
We know why it's a
problem. It's because of a pigment that's naturally in certain people's skin. And some people apparently have problems with natural sunscreen. Mm-hmm. And for whatever strange reason, that natural sunscreen causes this. Where we are sitting here talking about a character who is a fictional character who was made because he was fighting against people that should be punched in the face, that some people confused a person on this planet right now who did something recently and trying to say that wasn't what he was actually doing. But we all know that is what he was doing. Oh, yeah. And Captain America would have punched that person square in the face. Those same people who are freaking...
Square in the mouth.
Exactly. It's the same people who are trying to defend that person that did that move also do not understand Captain America.
So here's another little, another little fun fact, right? So there's an infamous Captain America cover from back in the 1950s where Captain America was, literally punched Hitler right in the mouth.
Mustache man.
What you guys may not know is that in America, we've always kind of had a problem with racism. And in America, there was something called the ANP, which is the American Nazi Party. American Nazi sympathizers. Go figure. But they did exist in this country. So they went to the Marvel offices, or they said they were at the Marvel offices, called up and said, hey, Jack Kirby, we didn't like what you did. Come down. We're going to beat the shit out of you. We'll see how we treat you. So what did Jack Kirby do? He got up, he rolled his sleeves and went downstairs, and them niggas was gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
Gone. There was a bunch of cowards. But basically, all I'm saying to say is that Captain America has always been about standing up against fascism
and bullies
and bigotry. Mm-hmm. So when you see Anthony Mackie saying that he's proud to represent what Captain America represents because he wants to represent that for young black kids in America that need to see that they too can be the hero. It's not just T'Challa that's the superhero. It's Sam Wilson. Yeah. That's a hero.
But I saw some, again, going back to me not reading the comics and other people telling me about this. Thing is, King Lion pointed out that there was comics where Captain America, Steve Rogers, wasn't always sure he should hold the shield because he is American by birth, but his parents are from another, or not his parents, but his family, his background are from another country where you have people who were here in this country before, the colonizers came. And he was always questioning about should he even, hold the shield? Should he be the one representing? So, and that was in the comics.
Yeah.
So again, you got a lot of people getting mad who don't read comic books.
I
don't read comic books, but I don't get mad.
It's always people looking at things from a very simplistic black and white lens. They can't see. They're not emotionally mature enough to read nuance or to see things in deeper shades than I'm the hero. I punched the bad guy. Game over.
Well, I think it even goes beyond that, though, because you have a lot of people that are arguing in the comments. Now, granted, some people just do it just to troll. Some people are really that dumb and they don't like you said, don't understand nuance, don't understand that, hey, two things could be, possibly true at the same time when you're dealing with these characters.
Yes.
And then it's like, they really just don't understand. And sometimes they'll be the first ones to, well, in the comic books, Captain America was such and such. I'm like, yeah, but he was also Bucky. He was also Sam Wilson. He was, you know what I'm saying? It's like he was also, for a very, very brief time, John Walker. So it's like all of these things exist. We just happen to be dealing with the time when Sam Wilson picks up the shield and becomes Captain America. Yeah. So it's like it's not hard to I don't know. Like I said, that's why I get to the point where I don't even look at the comment sections. There's certain YouTubers that I don't even really watch their videos anymore because it's like y'all are really being that ignorant to sit there and be like, Captain America is only Steve Rogers. It's like, okay.
No, he's not.
Like, most of y'all are too damn young, as most of the YouTubers that I'm seeing are too damn young to even have read any of the books back in the day. So it's like your introduction to Captain America probably was the MCU, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But to sit there to try to act like you're an authority on Captain America and the various versions of Captain America that have always been, it's like, come on now. Just sit back, watch the movie, because a lot of people, the movie's going to flop. It's like, y'all been saying the movie's going to flop since last year, probably 2 years before that. And it's like, I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm going to see the movie. I'm going to sit there and I'll like it or I won't.
Those same people are saying that Superman's going to flop in July. Like,
exactly. Come on now.
Yeah, for real. Like, some people out there that don't read comics and look at things in a very simplistic manner need to understand that these heroes, the titles of the heroes, their mantles. Superman, Clark Kent is Superman. John Kent is also Superman. It's a mantle. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Miles Morales is always Spider-Man. It's a mantle. Barry Allen is the Flash. Wally West is the Flash. Yeah. It's a mantle.
King to King brings up a good point. It says Cap is a Superman analog because at the end of the day, he fights for the dream America represents.
Correct.
And that's perfectly fine.
Correct.
It'd be nice if more people could see that and also try to fight for that same dream because they're in my eyes, they're tearing it down. They're trying to tear down everything that Superman, Captain America, and a lot of other people are trying to uphold. Especially like how Preem says, you got these billionaires doing certain salutes. That's not an American dream. That's not American.
Right.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Not at all.
And you got people twisting themselves in the pretzels to defend
Make excuses for it. Like, yes, man.
The thing is, it's like America is a concept. We know that for a sense. Because a lot of people forget that if you're dealing with America, and I'm going to put it in quotes on purpose, you got Canada and Mexico there too.
Yeah,
they're all part of that North American continent.
Because that's not even the name of our country.
It really is
not. It's the United States of America.
Right.
We're not America.
Right.
Of America.
Right.
America, because
so
America's the continent.
Yeah. So it's like people have to remember that part of it. And again, it's just foolishness.
Yep. At the end of the day.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's just foolishness, and it's just like, look. You can't say American culture because there is no particularly American culture.
Country's too gosh darn big to have one culture.
Yeah, too many cultures.
Too many immigrants from all walks of life make up this country. There's only one indigenous peoples, and they sure as hell ain't none of the peoples that are making the rules. It's not us either. So let's just be real. It's a concept, and it's a melting pot, and it's all of that other stuff. All the other phrases that have come in years before. But to sit there and act as if like, oh, he can't be Captain America because he's black or whatever is nonsense. Stupidity.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
Like, so it's like, look, y'all make all the videos you want or whatever. I'm gonna go see the movie and judge for myself.
I think it's gonna be great.
I don't need anybody to tell me whether or not the movie was good or not. I'm going to see it for myself.
I think it's going to be great. So that's the show for you guys today. Thanks you all very much for joining us. We appreciate you being here. I think it's been a great conversation. If you guys joined in late, make sure you watch the replay, whether it's on Twitch or on YouTube. We got an unboxing coming out this weekend, this Friday. The thumbnail puts it out there. It's Moff Gideon. The Mandalorian? Mando season 3, Moff Gideon. So make sure you come back on Friday at noon to check that one out, and to get the notification. Make sure you give us a follow right here on the YouTube channel, Culture Junkies at YouTube. Appreciate you all for being here. Thanks very much. We'll see you back here next week, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 Central, for another great episode of Culture Junkies Live. My friends, the great Adakuji, GQ. I'm Kishiro. Peace out. Have a good one.